In New York, on the 5th of April 1937, Colin Luther Powell was born into a world that was still wrestling with the scars of the Great Depression and the shadow of an impending world war. Little did anyone know that this child, born to Jamaican immigrants, would grow up to become one of the most influential figures in American history, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's military, diplomacy, and politics. Colin's early life was far from glamorous. His parents, Luther and Maud Powell, worked tirelessly to provide for their family. Their modest home was filled with love and the strong belief that education was the key to a brighter future. Young Colin soaked in these values, and from an early age, displayed an insatiable hunger for knowledge and an unyielding work ethic. Despite the challenges of growing up in a predominantly African American neighborhood, Colin excelled in school. His parents instilled in him a sense of discipline and the importance of setting goals. Colin's father, a shipping clerk, often told him, "A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work." These words would stay with Colin throughout his life. In high school, Powell joined the ROTC, a decision that would shape his future. The military provided structure and discipline that resonated with him deeply. His dedication and leadership abilities were quickly recognized, and he rose through the ranks of the ROTC with distinction. After graduating from City College of New York with a degree in geology, Colin Powell made a life-altering decision. He chose to serve his country by joining the United States Army as a second lieutenant in 1958. This decision set him on a path that would define his life. Colin's early years in the military were marked by his unwavering commitment to excellence. He trained rigorously, constantly improving his skills as a soldier and leader. He quickly caught the attention of his superiors, who saw in him the potential for greatness. The 1960s were a turbulent time in America, marked by civil rights struggles and the escalation of the Vietnam War. Colin Powell found himself on the front lines of this turmoil, first as an advisor in South Vietnam and later as a battalion commander. It was during these challenging years that Powell's leadership skills truly shone. His troops respected him not only for his military prowess but also for his integrity and humanity. He believed that every soldier under his command deserved to be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their background. This ethos would become a hallmark of his leadership style and set him apart in the military. The Vietnam War ended in 1975, leaving deep scars on the American psyche. Colin Powell returned home, decorated with numerous awards and medals, but also deeply affected by the conflict he had witnessed. He continued his military career, taking on various roles, including serving as a White House Fellow under President Richard Nixon. Powell's ascent in the ranks of the military was steady and impressive. He served as a brigade commander and later as a division commander, earning the trust and admiration of his subordinates and superiors alike. In 1987, he was promoted to the rank of lieutenant general and appointed as the National Security Advisor under President Ronald Reagan. During this time, Colin Powell was instrumental in shaping U.S. foreign policy. He played a pivotal role in the negotiations leading to the end of the Cold War, helping establish diplomatic relations with the Soviet Union. Powell's diplomatic acumen and ability to bridge ideological gaps were on full display. His leadership in the military and in diplomatic circles did not go unnoticed. In 1989, he was promoted to the rank of 4-star general, the highest rank in the U.S. Army. The following year, President George H.W. Bush appointed Powell as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest-ranking military position in the Department of Defense. As chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Colin Powell faced one of the most significant challenges of his career, the Gulf War. In 1990, when Iraq invaded Kuwait, Powell orchestrated a swift and decisive military response. Operation Desert Storm, as it came to be known, liberated Kuwait and established Powell as a brilliant military strategist. Under Powell's leadership, the coalition forces achieved victory with minimal casualties. His calm and measured approach to warfare earned him the respect of military leaders worldwide. Powell became a household name, celebrated as a symbol of American military strength and prowess. Despite his success in the military, Colin Powell's journey was not without its difficulties. He faced criticism and scrutiny, especially during the aftermath of the Gulf War. Some argued that the U.S. should have pursued further military action to remove Saddam Hussein from power, while others questioned the extent of America's involvement in global conflicts. Throughout it all, Powell remained steadfast in his belief in the importance of diplomacy and coalition building. He famously cautioned against going it alone in international affairs, emphasizing the need for consensus and cooperation among nations. In 1993, Colin Powell retired from the military after an illustrious 35-year career. Many expected him to enter the world of politics, and indeed, the call came. In 2000, he briefly explored the possibility of running for the presidency but ultimately decided against it. Instead, he accepted an offer from President-elect George W. Bush to serve as the Secretary of State. As Secretary of State, Powell faced the complex challenges of the post-9/11 world. He played a pivotal role in the lead-up to the Iraq War, presenting the case for military intervention to the United Nations Security Council. Powell's presentation included intelligence regarding Iraq's alleged weapons of mass destruction, a claim that would later prove to be flawed. The Iraq War remains a contentious and controversial chapter in Colin Powell's life. He later expressed regret over the way the intelligence had been handled, and his reputation as an honest and principled leader suffered as a result. Despite this setback, Powell continued to advocate for diplomacy and multilateral cooperation in international affairs. He worked tirelessly to address global issues such as nuclear proliferation, terrorism, and humanitarian crises. His commitment to diplomacy and his belief in America's role as a force for good in the world remained unwavering. Colin Powell's legacy extended beyond his time as Secretary of State. He continued to be a respected voice on matters of foreign policy and leadership. He authored books, delivered speeches, and engaged in philanthropic work, focusing on education and youth empowerment. As he entered his later years, Colin Powell faced personal health challenges, including a battle with prostate cancer. Yet, he remained active and engaged in public life, using his experience and wisdom to inspire and guide future generations of leaders. On October 18, 2021, the world mourned the loss of Colin Powell. His passing marked the end of an era and left a void in American leadership. His life's journey, from a humble beginning in Harlem to becoming a four-star general and the Secretary of State, served as a testament to the American dream and the power of hard work, discipline, and integrity. Colin Powell's life was not without its complexities and controversies, but he will always be remembered as a leader who dedicated his life to serving his country and striving for a better world. His legacy serves as a reminder of the enduring values of leadership, diplomacy, and the pursuit of a more just and peaceful world.